Everyone, welcome to a brand new episode of Women of Community Banking podcast. Today is Wednesday after me missing a flight to Austin. you know, that's an amazing start of the day. Uh, we have Amanda with me. Hi, Amanda. How are you doing? Yeah, how I am right now after missing a morning flight. But yeah, all good. Can't complain. Amanda, thank you for taking a time out to join us for an episode that to midweek morning. I mean, I know it's not easy, so it's a difficult thing that you're doing. So thank you about that. Quick introduction who Amanda is. She's one of the progressive lending leaders I know in Credit Union since the last few months. She is the Chief Lending Officer of Community First Credit Union, having spent almost 2.5 decades in the credit union ecosystem across three different credit unions. She completed almost 6 months at Community First now. So I don't know, Amanda, if I did a decent enough introduction about you. If not, ma'am, please feel free to add other bells and whistles and talk about it more than welcome.
You did an excellent job, except for the part of 2.5 decades that aged me a smidge, just a little bit.
That's what people talk about or tell me on Rag. It's okay. It might have been a better idea or good idea not to talk about that part, right? 2.5 or 3 decades. I'm like, okay, reality is reality.
Reality, you're correct.
Yeah. Let's start the episode with the first question, Amanda. Let's talk about your journey. What has been your career journey so far?
So my career journey, I started at a bank right out of high school, and then I was recruited to a credit union, which I spent almost 21 years at. So my journey has truly been my passion for credit unions and serving people. That's what I learned really quick when I joined a credit union. And I worked my way from a part-time teller to the C-suite. So hard work really does pay off. And like I said, I started at the bottom and tried to learn as much as possible on my journey in order to get here to be able to serve team members.
I mean, that's what the best career journey that I talk about talking to creative leaders, the journey of teller to becoming CEO. You still have some time to walk that ladder, but teller to CLO is equally inspiring. It's amazing. Firstly, from the entire community bank, women of community banking family community, congratulate you on your new role that you've taken up, and we're incredibly proud about what you're doing out. I mean, we from the Women of Community Banking podcast, we are really proud of what you've achieved in the last few years,
Mhm.
and we wish you all the best, in your new role, Amanda. So we are very proud of you.
Thank you so much.
Let's move on to the next section about leadership, right? So, as a women in a leadership position, to talk about challenges or opportunities. I mean, what are the unique challenges or opportunities that you encountered in your career so far? If you want to maybe summarize a few of them.
As far as challenges, I think we all have challenges, no matter, what career path you choose.
Yeah.
I'll probably lean in more into the opportunities I've been given. So I've had some really strong mentors throughout my career who started straight, at 19 years old, right? They saw something in me that I personally didn't see in myself. So they pushed me to learn and grow, and they really capitalized on my curiosity because I'm very curious. I want to understand the why behind things. Why do we click that button? Why do we ask those questions? So they really did lean into that and give me access to a lot of system knowledge and processes that they really helped grow my career by just, speaking into me. I just did not see in myself.
Yep. Makes sense. So that's what you want to share with us. Okay. Now, in your new role, Amanda, right, as a chief lending officer, what are your immediate priorities? Because you're still hot off the press, right? The first 6 months over there. What are your immediate priorities, and what does your roadmap for the next year look like?
So immediately when I get into an institution, I want to learn the team, right? I want to understand. I want to build strong relationships with my peers. I want to build relationships with my direct reports, and really all aspects of the organization. It's relationship business. That's what credit unions are. So that's the main thing is building my relationships, understanding the Jacksonville market. So that's also a big to do for me is understanding where we're at, where we're going. I guess the next piece would be as far as my journey, Community First was doing great before I got here. Okay. So I want to take the great I want to take the good and move to great. Okay. I want to not be stagnant. I want to look at what we're doing and consistently change, make sure we're matching our market, understand what innovative things are we not doing that we should be doing, because you will be left behind if you stay stagnant in what you're
Yeah,
doing. So we need to constantly be looking at our processes and making sure that we're operating with excellence.
yeah, that's sounds really well, and that sums up your priorities right now. Now, and you've spent very long years in lending as well as you're a champion of innovation, right? You love innovation across the member life cycle, right? So we talk about the entire life cycle of lending in terms of products, right? Be it like mortgages or auto or even small businesses picking up nowadays. I mean, it's a future, right? Uh, talking about specific areas of lending, do you see as having the most potential growth for innovation and growth? I mean, long story short, what product or service lines do have the most potential for growth, in your opinion, in the next few years?
Honestly, all of them, if I'm being honest. We have a strong indirect portfolio. We're trying to look for different ways in order to boost our direct market. Mortgages, all credit unions can grow mortgages, right?
Yeah.
It's a struggle for most people to understand that we do mortgages. So we have to do a really good job of marketing that, so that our membership and non-members understand that we do mortgages too. Commercial lending is always a big business for credit unions. Most credit unions are scared of commercial. We are not. So we are consistently growing our commercial portfolio. And I do think that is one area that we will continue to focus on throughout 2026.
I mean, I equally think of the same thing because obviously you're a subject matter expert. But what I know is credit unions are allowed to lend around 12.5% till their book of business for commercial lending, and we are around 1 to 2% right now. So there's a huge gap of 10% that can be filled out, and the huge opportunity that we are aiming at. I mean, for me, exactly that's a future. I mean, if you do it right, the ticket sizes are higher. The again, hate to call ROI because we don't talk about ROIs, but yeah, in some way or the other, the ROI is very higher commercial itself.
Yes.
So absolutely.
With community banks starting to diminish, it's even more important for credit unions to step in and to ensure that our communities are protected for these businesses. So I do believe that credit unions will have more of a footprint in the commercial lending spectrum.
Yeah, I think that's a future. Absolutely. Moving on to the next, how do you balance demands of a high leadership role, right? Because, you know, your role entails you to be both at a 5,000 feet as well as go and get your hands dirty, right? So my question would be, how do you balance the demands of a high level leadership role with your personal growth and well-being? Because we just spoke, you drive 6 hours every week, 6 plus 6, 12 hours every week, right? To be with your family. That's amazing. But how do you balance it?
I would love to say that I have a magic formula, but I do not. My family would probably say I could do a better job of that, balancing. I guess the main thing is if I'm a good wife and a mom, I think I'll be great at my job. So I
Okay.
do focus on they are my job, right? My family is my job. This is my my day job here at Community First. That is my passion. Okay. So I try to serve my family with excellence, and then I do the same thing with my work life. I boundaries. I guess the main thing is you've got to have boundaries. You have to have time because all day long we take and fill other people's cups, right? So we have to take time for ourselves, whether that's taking a walk, listening to a podcast. Your podcast would be a fabulous one to listen to in case anybody's looking for one to listen to. but audiobooks, things like that, just things that can kind of take you out of your day to day and put you in a different place, let you learn new things. I feel like if you're not learning something new, that you're not growing. So I do try to balance that as much as possible. As you discussed just a moment ago, I do have a good drive right now. So I have plenty of audiobooks that I do capitalize on throughout that commute.
Yep, that helps you balance your work and like, and what we talked about right now, that your job is your family.
Yes,
And
that
this
is
is something that you're doing as a passion. I think that sums up you as a person, individual, how deeply rooted you are to values and to family. That's so important. Because again, you take a different angle. What are credit unions? Credit unions are a group of people coming together who believe in the same value system
Mhm.
or helping members achieve better financial wellness. So that's who we are, right? And if you're not deeply rooted to your family values, I hardly believe that you can do that, right? And this is such well connected, and that's the reason you're in credit unions for more than 2 decades, right? So there's a reason for that.
That is correct.
In terms of advice, Amanda, if I were to ask you, right, give if you were to share advice to aspiring women leaders, right? Because I mean, to aspiring women, for lack of better word, because there are a lot of people who tune into our podcast, and I've heard stories like, Anurag, your podcast has helped me take that difficult call of talking to my supervisor for my next role. It has given me that motivation to go and find a different job for me in a different credit union or in a different ecosystem. I never think that I could drive that impact, but somehow people tell me that. I'm so pleased about that. Let's assume that, not let's assume, the entire world is listening to you right now and you're talking about or sharing your advice, right, to aspiring women leaders. What would they be? They can be multiple of them, but you want to share a few nuggets?
I think the main thing is to remain curious. Always ask why. Take every opportunity, even if it's an opportunity you really don't see being a long-term move for you. Take every single opportunity because there's something to be taught or something you will learn something from every single interaction, every role that you're given, and really capitalize on people who are willing to give you feedback and mentor you because those are the most valuable things you can have throughout this industry is people who see something in you that you don't see.
Yep, that's a very good advice that you shared. Amazing. Now, I may sound like a naysayer, but I'm a huge fan of solving problems. I mean, I believe in first principles, uh, breaking down a problem into chunks and thinking and solving them one by one. That's essentially first principles, right? So breaking down a big problem into small and then solving them. So what are the biggest challenges that the lending ecosystem is facing nowadays, right? And how do you think they can be, or you can navigate efficiently through them?
So we've got, I mean, if you just look at our environment today, so you have people who are, affordability is huge. Affordability with houses, with cars, interest rates are, driving some affordability. You have people with credit challenges. Like if you just look at volume in general, you have so many C to E paper loans that are applying, or excuse me, applicants that are applying for loans today that, we have to really strive to find ways to serve that population. So I would say that that's probably some of the main things that are driving is just credit challenges and affordability. As a credit union, our job is people helping people. So it's what can we do? What solutions can we bring to the table? What products does it take? So I do think it's just constantly looking at your portfolio, looking at your application volume, and trying to understand who are you trying to serve and how do you serve them?
Yeah, so that is basically one of the major problems that the entire ecosystem is facing right now. And you summed it up in a very short, concise format that this podcast is meant for. So Amanda, again, thank you for this quick 15 minutes chat, because that's what we're trying to do. Do shorter versions of podcast so that it's available to a broader audience and it can be consumed very quickly. Thank you for your time today, Amanda. I mean, we really appreciate this, and thank you again.
Thank you so much for having me.
Absolutely.